Recording in progress.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the Resident and Family Support Council meeting that we hold on the second and the fourth Tuesday of every month at 3 o'clock. It's the same link that you used to get into the meeting today. Remember, it's the same link that we use for every single meeting. So share that invitation, share this link far and wide so that people can attend these meetings and really become more empowered with their life while living in long-term care. And today's topic is such a great topic to be able to really enhance that independent living. We are actually, for the very first time, we are doing a video as we're going to be walking through the Illinois Assistive Technology Program. And what I'm going to do right now actually is I'm going to pass it over to the experts here that are behind me. We've got Angie and Robin. They both are here to share with us today some amazing tools and also about this program. So could you guys tell us a little bit about what is the Illinois Assistive Technology Program all about?
The Illinois Assistive Technology Program is the state AT program for Illinois. Every state has a program kind of like ours, every state and every territory. And we have the same core programs. So today you're going to see demonstration, which is a bunch of devices that can help individuals stay independent. And we have a library where you can borrow devices for 6 weeks. And some of those devices that you'll see today will be available in the library, which you can access from our website. And we also have the third core program that I'm going to talk about is reuse. And reuse is a donated devices that people no longer need that come in, and then we can make sure they're in good working condition, clean them up, and pass them back out to other people that can't afford them or that maybe insurance isn't covering that particular device. Then we have that program too.
So Robin, you're telling me that if I see something here today, even through the course of this, presentation or discussion today, if there's something that you may already have one of these devices and I could see if you had it and I could actually maybe use that device in the interim before I buy it.
Right. So yes, so exactly. We have the library for 6 weeks where you can borrow them, and that really gives you a good idea on whether or not that device is a good fit for you. And you can borrow multiple devices. We can mail them to you, and the only cost to you would be to mail them back to us. And as long as you have a Illinois address, then you can borrow. You can access that information on our website.
So how would I know? Can I call you guys and find out what, because we're going to see some stuff today, but we're only going to get to see a very small bit of all the things that are amazing things that are here. So can I call? How do I find out what might serve a purpose for me to be more independent?
So usually what we do is if somebody's struggling with something, please contact us. We probably have an idea. There's over 60 of us that work here, and between all of us, we can usually come up with some kind of idea to help you or help that person that's struggling. So, and it might be here in our library they could borrow, or it might be something we can just send them a link to learn about. Or maybe they can pop in and try it here in the demonstration center. And if they're unable to get to us, we can also pack things up and bring them out and show them.
So you're located in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you just even Google the Illinois Assistive Technology Program, you can get the address. So if I was coming in, for example, to the state fair in a couple of weeks, and my mother was struggling with some hearing issues and we didn't really know what to do, and her quality of life is diminishing because of it, I could actually, maybe we could come here and she could see some things that are available.
Exactly.
Oh, that is
Yes.
Really
Yes.
fantastic. This is such a great resource. I'm so excited, and I want to really spend most of the time looking at this. We probably could talk to you guys forever about all the other stuff. So if we go ahead and you want to take us on a tour?
Okay.
Hey, Lee, can I ask a question? This is
Absolutely.
Kelly. Your library on your website, or is there information in an electronic version that shows us the things that are in your library, or we would just need to call and say, hey, this is the situation. Do you all have something like this?
If you go on our website, illtech.org, it'll give you some like icons to click for our device loan library. It will be try a device, and it will have devices divided in categories like vision, hearing, computers, learning, speech communication. And then just click on one of those and it will bring up the pages of devices that we have.
Great question, Kelly. Thank you. And if
Thank
somebody,
you.
Kieran, I think if you're
She
there,
just dropped it in.
I was gonna say, Kieran is our Stephen as well. Helps drop in links. So be looking in the chat because you might see some links for today's conversation as well.
So I think with our devices in our demonstration center are divided in the different categories, the same that are in our lending library categories. And right now we're going to start in the computer section so that people can, if they have some difficulty accessing their computer or their laptop, doing like reading or even having access to their phone if they can't hold a phone. We have a stand that would clamp onto a desk. We have different types of keyboards. The one right here is large print and high contrast. So someone that has visual difficulties might be able to access this a little bit better. And it would just plug into a laptop or a computer. We also have something called ErgoRest, that if somebody has some weakness, they have a difficulty accessing their computer, you can set it up so that they can just move their forearm and access the keys on the keyboard.
Wow, that is really a great idea. You can see how much more independence people can have to be able to check their emails, Google things. And I also see you got a book stand here.
Yes,
If that's something that could be used. It's clamps.
clamps on. That way, if someone has difficulty holding a book, it can do that for you. Or if they have to reference the book while they're working on the computer, it makes it a little bit easier to access. And then it will hold their page. When they turn it,
That's
they can
nice.
keep it set like that. This little mirror that clamps on, this is nice for someone that is working at a desk that has a hearing impairment and might not be able to hear somebody calling them, but they can say, oh, somebody's coming up behind me, so it alerts them. But sometimes people like this if they have a wheelchair, so that they can see if someone's coming up behind them.
I've seen several of these devices being able to be used for not just at a workstation, to be used on your
Bedside
your tray
table.
table, your bedside table, absolutely, at mealtime, to have on your wheelchair, on your walker, variety of different purposes. So these are some, you can then move them from spot to spot too, because they're just clamped. This one's
Yes.
actually pretty nice. It's just nice.
I'm going to show a couple of different devices from our speech and communication section. Sometimes there are residents that maybe because of a stroke, they aren't able to express verbally what their needs are. So this is an iPad with software added to it for aphasia, it's called, and you can kind of set it up so that they can communicate by pressing play.
Nice to see you.
And you
Nice.
can gear it like, I need to go to the bathroom, or yes, no questions. You can a lot of times personalize it with family pictures.
So this is a way for people if they've had a stroke particularly, or they have other communication issues, to be able, they can't verbally articulate what they want. And I could even see some people with dementia who might have difficulty word finding, but because the pictures show you what
Yes.
it is that you are wanting to convey,
Exactly.
it can be helpful. That's very good. Cool.
And then this device, if someone isn't able to communicate with speech, or they can type it off and it can produce the speech. Or this could be helpful for someone, for a caregiver to use with maybe a resident that has a hearing impairment. They can type it out and then the person can see it here. So they can read it.
As you're scrolling through, we have the different keyboards and different computer mice. So some that have different access, some that you can access using your foot, or keyboards that have key guards on them. It's a large variety of different things, and the keyboards and the computer mice and the communication devices are available in our library to borrow for 6 weeks. So you can get a lot of those there. That gives you a good chance to try them. To
So-
make sure they work.
So what room are we heading to
So
next?
now we're heading into our area for hard of hearing.
Oh, there are so many people that live in long-term care communities that have difficulty hearing. And I know this is something, even those, we may even have family members and other people. This is such an important topic to talk about.
Yes, so we have a lot of devices that are amplifiers. So we don't do much with hearing aids, but if somebody would just like some amplification, we have a lot of different devices that have earphones and a device that would pick up the amplify everything that's going on around them. So then they could wear the earphones, and it could be headphones or it could be earbuds. And then this device has a plus and a minus. It's going to increase the volume for exactly what they need. This one actually even has the ability to be Bluetooth to their cell phone. So then if they were hearing, using it to amplify what's going on around them, and then they needed to answer their phone, they could simply just push this and then they could still keep the headphones on and talk through their.
Oh, great. I know some communities, long-term care facilities have gotten a device like similar to something like this without the Bluetooth. And then they'll get different headphones so that all the different people who need to use the device, they have their own personal headphones, so they have to worry about using someone else's. So the facility just buys this and then people can buy their own headphones, which is another really great idea because these are not cost prohibitive.
So, yeah, the Pocket Talker is another popular one. And these are also available in our library for 6 weeks. So if somebody was really curious if this would be helpful for them, they can borrow this and learn if that's really. This is a voice amplifier. So that's another thing that sometimes can help. Maybe you're in a group of people, a lot of people that can't hear, you might need to amplify your voice for them, or maybe it's somebody that's very soft spoken, have a loud projection. Having a voice amplifier could be helpful.
Could a staff member, one of the things that we encourage a lot through the ombudsman program is care plan meetings for people to attend their care plan meetings. And what can happen sometimes is the resident will go to the meeting and they're not hearing what's going on. Could this be something where like the care plan coordinator could wear this and that would then amplify their voice so that the individual would be able to hear what's going on?
They could borrow from our library.
To
The
see if
only
it's something.
requirement to borrow is that you live in Illinois. So, and we will, like I said, ship it to you, and then you just have to pay for the shipping back. That would be the only cost. So everything else is free. So there are 2-piece ones too, amplifiers with 2 pieces. The benefit to that is you can put the one that's listening closer to who you're talking to, or if you were at a presentation, the person talking could hold this or wear this, or a TV next to the TV. It could be set next to the TV, and then the person that's hard of hearing would wear the other one.
And because I have heard sometimes with the ones that are more singular, like the first one you pointed out, that people pick up so much other background noise, that can be very frustrating. That's why this borrowing program, the
Mhm.
library, is a really great idea to see
Yeah.
what works.
And you could borrow a 2-piece and a 1-piece and see which one works. And then this is TV amplifiers. There's a lot of different kinds of TV amplifiers, but this is one of them called TV ears. So if the TV is just not loud enough for you, not everybody in the whole area needs to hear it loudly, then this would be just for the person. Then we have a
I
lot
think
of.
that could save some couples' relationships.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just remember my grandparents.
Yes.
I remember my grandparents always arguing because my grandfather, the TV always needed to be loud.
Oh,
My grandmother's
too
like,
loud.
yeah. So,
So, and then we have a lot of things like bed shakers on alarm clocks and different alerting systems to let people know that are hard of hearing that there's something going on. It could be that there's a flashing light to alert them that the fire alarm is going off, or a flashing light to let them know that the doorbell or someone's at their door, or even the phone is ringing.
I see a cell phone
Yeah.
signal.
So it will, or a bed shaker. So bed shaker is going to vibrate. So someone that's hard of hearing is going to feel the vibration instead of hearing it. They'll feel it.
My mother has hearing difficulties, and it's been a real impairment to her life when this first started because she became socially withdrawn. And she's a very social person who attended a lot of groups. And when we started looking and seeing what adaptations we can make in her life, it truly changed the quality of her life. And one of the things I also did tell her, though, was to make sure people knew that she was hard of hearing, to tell people, I have difficulty hearing. Can you please look at me when you speak to me? Or, I need some assistance because of that.
Exactly. I
So
think that's
it's-
very important.
We had a question on here. Can people renew items that they've checked out?
So if it's not request like on a wait list, then they might be able to extend the loan for a couple weeks. So,
Okay.
Good question.
and then we just wanted to mention phones a little bit. We do have information on captioning phones and phones for some amplified phones. That is another program, but we have information on it and how you can get a free amplified or free captioning phone. So you can reach out to us if you need that information. We also have a lot of phones on display to show different kinds that can help people. And a couple of the popular ones for seniors are the Jitterbug. It is a flip phone and it has large buttons. That's pretty, and it has a nice little handle on the back that we've added to it. But that's something else we can do, is help to adapt things to make it easier for somebody. Another really nice phone is called the GrandPad. This is actually a phone and it's a 7-inch tablet. It has icons across the middle. It's put on or provided through Consumer Cellular, and a caregiver would set it up for the individual. So, and they would program in it the people that can call the individual. So the only people calling the individual would be their caregivers. I mean, they're the ones the caregivers have put in there.
Oh, this is really great
Yeah.
because the pictures are so large on the small cell phone. If you put pictures affiliated and they're round and sometimes you don't get the whole person's face. So what a great.
Yes, and this is specifically designed for grandparents, GrandPad. So it's made super simple. Not only is it a phone, but it can have things programmed in there, like articles they like to read, the weather, music, games. They make it very simple, but the caregiver, like I said, is in control of it. And that way they don't get those robocalls asking them to donate money or, that kind of thing. It's very safe.
Can you text on that?
So I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
Just
I think
curious.
it's more of just voice phone or video calls.
Yeah, I didn't see a text icon.
But it's very possible that they're upgrading it and making it available to do those different things. And then when you go to charge your phone, you just simply set it in the little dock. That's exactly
We're
what
looking for that little cord and
you do.
trying to
No,
plug it
yeah,
in.
no plugging in little cords, which can
Right.
also be very difficult for someone older.
Miscellaneous items here for driving and some things for like hand weights for someone with tremors. But we also have this called a handy bar or a car caddy. for someone, like maybe a family member that's taking their loved one to a doctor's appointment or just out of the facility, it can aid in helping them transfer in and out of the car. So you just hook it to the latch between the front and back seat, just slips in there, and it gives a person something to push up on to make it a little bit easier for them to get in and out of the car.
I feel that that would also make me feel more safe. Because both one of my hands I might be using on the door, like this individual it's showing on the picture in the individual. And then it gives me a place to be able to use both my arms to be able to support my weight as I'm getting out of it. And if I was a family member helping to transport somebody, it would also make me feel a little bit more secure that I'm not going to drop my mother
Yes.
while she's going in and out of the car.
Very good. I'm gonna walk into the vision area now. We have a lot of different magnifiers. We have some small ones that are kind of the size of a cell phone, 5-inch screen, and they go all the way up to some really large desktop magnifiers, which are 24-inch screens. So this one's kind of a middle size. And if you notice here, you can put a paper under it.
Wow.
And you can magnify. You can change the contrast, which can help, can change the contrast and help make it larger for the different people to see.
And that can be important for people if they have glaucoma or they have macular degeneration.
Yes,
All of those
exactly.
things can be very important for them, being able to change that contrast and all that. Wonderful.
And so also having the different size options is a good choice, good thing to have choice. And this is a handheld one.
My husband needs that to read the menus in the restaurant.
Yes, honestly. And, so it has the magnification
really
and the
cool.
color contrast, all the same things. And it's got a nice little handle that folds in so you can stick it in your pocket. Make it easy to go. We do have a lot of the big desktop magnifiers too. So this would be in a place where you're going to leave it all the time. But it'd be good for like facilities to have one of these on hand for individuals. They usually have a tray that moves around. This one has an added feature of being able to read.
1:45 p.m. Rich people were mad as marked.
You can
Of
see it's
course, Patty had not met very many wealthy people except to reach into their pocket.
so it's reading this book that we put under here.
That's really good. So you can
So-
follow and read at the same time.
Yes, and another thing that a lot of seniors like to use this for is to look at photos. So as their vision is decreasing, sometimes they aren't able to see their photos of their newest family members. So being able to see their photos is life-changing.
Especially when it's like group picture, you know, when there's so many people in the
See
picture.
everybody from-
I actually worked with a long-term care community that had one of these in their library. It's a great place to be able to put that. The books are all there. People could come in and read a magazine or a book, and it really facilitated that independence for people.
So magnifiers are important. So come on in. Another thing that's important is lighting. So just adding extra light in a room can really make a big difference. So this is an OT light. OT lights you can find a lot of places at like hobby stores, crafting types of places. But they just bring a lot, they help people to see a lot easier. Then some of the other things in this vision area, we have the simple magnifiers with lights. And they may only have 3 times up to 15 times magnification, but if they don't, if this kind of a magnifier doesn't help, then we probably move over to showing them the video magnifiers. So we also have talking clocks. And then just simple magnifiers. This is a magnifying dome that you can place over paper to magnify. And, some of these magnifiers don't have to be expensive. Like something like this we got off of Amazon. And it was only less than $20. So
I've actually seen someone use this who had mobility issues, because this is on the, you could just do it like. So you do it, it was very easy for them, they could push it. It didn't require as much dexterity to be able to use it. I've never had seen that before. I thought it was a beautiful paperweight.
yeah, well, and it can be a paperweight too, which, you know, if you're reading a book, it's really handy because it holds the book pages open a little easier. So this is a signature guide. So if someone was to have to sign something, if they are low vision, having that guide can really help. Or maybe if they have tremors or shakes, you know, just having that guide to help hold their signature in that spot. And so
And what an important, I didn't even think, because I know so many people, their signature can change as they get older, and it's something that's visual. And I remember distinctly with a gentleman one time, and he's like, oh, you need to sign something, and he was just so disgusted with himself because his signature, it didn't look like it used to look. And this would help give more of that opportunity to be able to keep that looking like you need it to look. I never even thought about something like that.
Recreation section also in our demonstration center so that people can try out different things so that they can still engage in leisure activities. And we know that some of these, like being able to participate in games, helps them to be able to socialize with friends or family members. We have like to say that assistive technology doesn't have to be expensive. We just used a pool noodle that you could get at a dollar store, made a slit down the middle, and then it's a card holder.
Nice, easy idea. Everybody should have these in their
Yes.
long-term care facility.
And you can purchase them. They're not too expensive either, but it's nice to have something, you know, that's available quickly. You can make, you know, Lee talked about, some people lose their ability to write, you know, they're embarrassed about their signature.
Can you hold that up?
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
This is called a writing guide. So someone with limited dexterity and maybe some tremors as well can hold it down on a piece of paper. They can then use a signature guide to help. And then they can write. And then we also have one that you can just take a stress ball, make a slit down the middle of it. You can put a pen in there. You can put a computer stylus, or you can actually even put a utensil through there.
Yes. So go to those community health fairs, get a bunch of stress balls and punch holes in them.
Yeah. That's one thing, if you're not sure, if you want ideas, that's one thing we like to tell people. I know Robin mentioned, if you have someone that's having a difficulty with it and maybe like participating in activities is one of them, give us a call and we'll try to give you some ideas. This is just a large print bingo card. They have different ones that you can even like close a gap so that you don't have to put chips on it. Makes it a little bit
Mhm.
easier for people that might have tremors or limited dexterity. Automatic card shuffler. This is a gardening tool. So some facilities, if they have raised garden beds, help somebody that maybe has some limited upper body strength or motion, they can slip their arm in and it gives them a little bit control so they can participate.
And there's a variety of those tools I see over here. So that's
Yes.
great.
It's not for stabbing your roommate either.
And then this is a desktop pedal exerciser. Somebody can participate in exercising.
And can
build
that
up their
also be used
strength
on
and
the ground?
endurance. Yes, you could also put it on the ground to exercise your feet.
Oh, what a great thing to do to keep that blood moving.
Yes.
Need to do that when I'm binging one of my Netflix shows.
Over to our mobility section. A variety of things for people to try and access, to kind of give them ideas.
Are these available also to be able to be borrowed? Because he seems like expensive equipment.
Now, a lot of our mobility devices aren't available in our lending library, but sometimes are available in our reuse program where people have donated. Sometimes we get the trikes. It just fluctuates. Our reuse program, it's always best to call to find out because the inventory just fluctuates as people donate items to us. We do have a lot of times an assortment of standard walkers, wheelchairs, transfer tub benches, some of the specialty walkers like this. This is called a U-step walker, and it's designed for someone that has Parkinson's disease, where they may have difficulty sometimes when they stop, they have a hard time starting back up. Light on, and it gives a red line for frame of reference to keep their feet going. And then a safety feature is it only goes when you press the levers, but when you let go, it stops.
What a great idea for people that are fall risk and many people that do have Parkinson's has advanced so much mobility for falls. So could it just be Parkinson's, or what if I am fall risk? You know, we see many of the silver, very generic type walkers in a long-term care facility, and those don't have any brake systems on. And
It is a great safety feature for someone that has good mobility, but maybe some safety awareness deficits. This might be a good option for them. It's also nice that if they do get tired, they're able to turn and sit and rest for a little while. An advantage of this walker too, because of the wheel frame, a regular walker, when you're turning, sometimes you have to lift and turn. This one glides.
now, will Medicare pay for something like this? Would I be able to have that reimbursed?
It sometimes depends on the insurance provider. We tell people that if they have not received a walker in the last 5 years or another piece of durable medical equipment, contact their doctor, and they can write a letter of medical necessity to give to the insurance company, and hopefully that will.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Yes.
I guess why not give it a shot and
Yes.
see? Wonderful.
But sometimes we do get these in our reuse program, so always give us a call and see if we have one available if that's something that meets the needs of your residents.
I would have never imagined those existed, and especially not with the laser light.
Yes.
It's hard to see on the camera, the laser light, but it does show up very clearly in person. It's very clear to see in person.
Mhm. It is.
In this room is, we have daily living, a lot of things that you might need for your daily living with grooming and bathing, toileting. There are things to help with brushing your teeth, with medicine reminders. Actually, this device right here is to help put on your hearing aids. Bend to see in your ear as you're putting in your hearing aids. Here in this corner, we've got a lot of different medicine organizers, things that can help keep you organized and make sure you're taking your medicines when you need to take them. We have a lot of clocks also on this. One of them to really point out is this clock right here. It has Tuesday afternoon, and it spells out July. So it spells all the words out completely, and it's a memory loss digital calendar clock. So it would help somebody that has memory loss, because sometimes they don't know those abbreviations, and they don't always know, is it morning or afternoon? So
Wow, so far we're getting so many ideas to help keep us independent. And I think that that's really one of the things that we talk about so much during the Resident Family Support Council meetings is this empowerment to be able to live that life that we want to live. And I am just feeling that if we utilized and used a lot of these information that we're seeing today, that it would just make for a much better quality of life for people as we're going through that aging path.
So over here, we just came over across the hall into what we have is a smart home here. And we have a lot of different smart devices. We have lights that can be turned on, TV, door locks, the Ring doorbell, lots of different ideas. If you would like to have a smart and smarter environment using smart speakers to control parts of your house. We'll give you an example. We have these lights turned on. Here, able to see the lights in there.
Mhm.
And if you say, hey, Google, turn off the lights, it turned off the lights. So you can use your voice to turn them on, turn them off. You can set up a routine. So maybe when you go to bed, they're a certain color to kind of calm you down, relax you, or maybe in the middle of the night, you might need to get up to go to the bathroom and you need to turn on the light to see to get there. So it's there's a lot of different things you can voice control, and we have a whole department for smart devices. So we have simple remotes, ideas for remote controlling your television, and a lot of them just have the channel up, channel up and down, volume up and down, and some of them you can program like your 3 favorite channels. So it makes using a TV much easier.
I know some facilities have broken TVs all over the place because some remotes have the input button right next to the power button.
Oh.
And so a universal remote like that, that's very simple, large buttons, easy to see, easy to read, very helpful
Yes, they are extremely.
with fixed
And we have
TVs.
a lot of TV amplifiers in this room, different kinds, some that just are speakers that you can set closer, like these on the back of this couch. They can just sit right behind you. Things to help you get in and out of a chair or couch. We have a huge variety of ideas.
So it sounds like if we want to get smarter, we need to be contacting all of you so that we can see how we can keep that independence going
Oh,
through setting our house up in a smarter environment.
yes.
So in this room, we have some different dressing options. Instead of an individual needing to manipulate buttons, which can be very difficult for them, these are magnetic. These have magnetic snaps.
You demonstrate how you.
Yeah.
So
All you have to do
there's
is,
fake buttons there.
yes.
So
We like to show that simplified clothing doesn't have to be t-shirt and sweatpants. It can help maintain their dignity and look very nice too. The only thing that we like to tell people, you cannot use magnetic closures if you have a defibrillator or a pacemaker.
And now is this machine washable?
Yes. It's 100% cotton, so you may, if you don't want it to shrink, you may want to air dry it. Also have different varieties. These pants make it a little bit easier for an individual, maybe a caregiver, to help someone get dressed. It has the snaps that open. And then if an individual has a catheter that they are able to manage themselves, they can easily access it with the zippers on the side. Or it makes it easier for a caregiver to access it.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. We have some devices that make it easier to get on and off. These shoes are an option. They're called friendly shoes. And they just have it.
Oh, wow. I need that for my grandkids.
And they come in children's sizes too.
Great.
And then if an individual has an AFO or
And what's an AFO?
an ankle, foot orthotic,
Got it. Okay.
they can use this device. They can place the orthotic in there, and then it stays in place so that they can just slip their foot in without it moving.
Those can be very difficult to put on independent by yourself.
Yes,
So this is a device that'll help you be able to put it on by yourself. Great.
I like Lee's word empowerment. That's, one thing that we like to say, that this technology can help empower people to be more independent. Is to assist in putting on those tight compression stockings that
Ooh.
people have difficulty with. They just fold it over here. You can adjust these handles here. You can make them higher or lower. And then that way, once you have it folded over, you just slip your foot in and pull it.
Another difficult item to put on by yourself. Now we're moving into one of my favorite rooms here is the independent. Much better with our eating.
Can start with a chair caddy. See that there's wheels attached to a regular dining room chair, so that somebody that might have difficulty transferring on and off.
This is so much harder to do,
Yes, getting in and out.
Mhm.
to get in and out.
And those have a lock on them too, correct?
Yes. So once they're sitting in, caregiver can lock them. You're a little bit positioned better at a dining room table so that they can access the utensils a little bit better to eat independently.
So great, I'm looking at that as for an assisted living in a dining room, because this chair, I needed to use this chair. This would be very difficult. This on my own. I'm not making this up. They're very difficult for me to do this on my own, and then you saw the ease, and this is even a heavier chair because it's got the sidearms on it. How easy, and that could really be helpful for caregivers' backs as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
What's
A
the-
variety.
This.
So this is a sloped base so that it improves someone's access a little bit. It has the indention right here so that when they scoop their food, they're less likely to spill it.
So it like naturally the incline brings the food right to the bottom of the plate as you're
Mhm.
eating, so it will make it easier and again, create that independence.
Yes. We have different cups. This one is a weighted cup. So someone that might have tremors and is worried about liquid spilling out of it, it keeps it more stable. It has that opening at the side that they can slip their whole hand through to grip it a little bit better to keep it stable.
And I'm noticing that the shape of this is different. Why is this? I'm wondering if it's because when you would put it on your hand, and if I did have tremors, I could do it this way.
Uh-huh.
So I get my lips around it bigger. Very interesting. Good question.
Have different utensil. This is a universal cup that someone can slide their utensil in. Gives them a built-up grip, but then also keeps the hand, you can Velcro it across the hand to keep it stable.
I feel like all long-term care communities should have several of these items.
Yes, these are very versatile too. Not just utensils, you can use,
Paintbrush.
absolutely. And they're fairly inexpensive as well. This is a type of utensil for someone that has tremors. Depending on how much of the tremor they have, and a lot of times, maybe a therapist or the nursing staff would kind of determine, you can take the weight, you can adjust the weight
Hmm.
for their needs.
That's great.
Lifter. Someone is able to perhaps use their utensil to scoop, but they don't have the range of motion to bring it all the way to their mouth, or they don't have the strength. It brings it a little bit closer to them. And this is a scoop plate. And it's designed the same way to help keep the food on the utensil.
See that spilling wouldn't be, you know, you can be so conscious during mealtime.
Yes.
You don't want to be that eater that's spilling your food everywhere. If you're sitting in the dining room in an assisted living, or going out to dinner with a family member, and I could see that this would just give me more dignity.
Yes, yes. And sometimes that's people are resistant to use something that's different, especially in public. This is a weighted utensil, but it doesn't look like it's so different. It doesn't look like a piece of hospital equipment. So that they're more likely to maybe use something like this versus, something like this.
Actually, very pretty.
Yeah.
So this is one of, when you get.
I was just gonna show these utensils, just
Around here. So I can see you better.
this utensil we have for its versatility to show people, depending on their gripping ability, make it so they need to grip like that and scoop, or if they get it down, but just a little bit angled. And then it has where you can adjust the grip so they can hold on to it better.
Is that something a person can check out from the library? Or
This one, I don't think we have it in our lending library. We do have some weighted utensils in our library, but a set is available. I think we found it on Amazon for about $30.
okay.
So it's not the cost isn't that prohibitive.
Yeah,
Well, that could be great if you know you needed an angle, but you don't know what angle.
Yes, yes, it's very individualized.
Mhm.
And I would encourage when you're looking at all of this is to work with the an occupational therapist. Does so much around mealtime experience that it can really be helpful to consult with them as well. And they have catalogs where a lot of this stuff can be purchased.
And there's so many options, and everyone, we like to say assistive technology fits one. It's so individual, what someone prefers to use or what is more dependent. So this is a robotic feeder for somebody that has loss of their limbs, maybe, or no functional strength in their arms to feed themselves. Turn it on. You can teach it so that depending on where a person sits on a chair, you can program it so it will go directly to that person's mouth. It is switch activated. So one switch will scoop. Bring it to the mouth. And then the other one will go to a different. There you go. One switch will go to the different food item.
And you say switches, but what you've got connected are touchpads, correct?
And if someone, if they couldn't use even the motion to touch this, you could always put it close to their head. You could position it where they do have access to use it.
There's different kinds of switches. So there's button switches and pillow switches, and there's even some that are motion activated. So even just the movement of your head could turn it and activate it. So
And these are
That's
easy to
wonderful.
clean. Yes. They just come off. Okay, attach. Put the magnet, and then this comes out.
So if a nursing home has 2 or 3 people who need assistance with eating, but could do it themselves if they had the equipment, they just have to wash it between residents and then,
Yes.
have multiple spoons and multiple plates to go with it.
Well, does that bring us to the end of everything? We really had an extensive tour today and we appreciate your time so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we really do appreciate you taking this time out. This is an absolutely amazing place. I would encourage anybody to contact them. I know that sometimes we're dealing with frustrations in our lives due to some inability that we've acquired as we've gotten older or because of a medical issue. And we don't need to be doing that. We should be able to continue to thrive and have that life that we deserve to have. And this is just contact the Illinois Assistive Technology Program. The information, it should all be in the chat right now. This will be being posted to YouTube, so please refer this off to other people. Have your community, if you live in a long-term care community, have your community watch this on YouTube. To get to our YouTube links, you just can go, you can either just Google the Illinois Ombudsman Program, look for the Resident Family Support Council on the left-hand side, and it will bring you to that page, which has the link for the YouTubes right there. So you don't have to remember any links. You can just tell them Google and look for the Resident and Family Support Council YouTube links.
we have a couple more minutes.
Okay,
Lee, could we go to your laptop and answer some questions?
absolutely. So let's take a walk. Just as we're going to see if you could show us this beautiful smart kitchen. Which is
Well, this is that's
okay. The beautiful smart kitchen that exists here that could really help people again, keep that
Yeah.
independence if they're living at home. We're in assisted living. That is offered here. I'm just overwhelmed by the amount of things that you guys have. So, I'm going to go over. We've got 27 items in the.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got to apologize to everyone. The button to see the chat, I can see it pop up and get a couple of words in, but then the button to actually see the chat is right next to the end call button.
Oh.
It's kind of,
So we've got in our chat, just to let you know that many of the, Karen has been monitoring this for us. Thank you, Karen. We do appreciate this. And she went through, kind of gave a little description about what's on the website. So thank you for that. Those Jitterbug phones, which cell phone do you recommend for those living with dementia?
It's a hard question.
Come on over here with
There
me.
there are lots of different phones, and typically what we do is if someone emails us or calls us, we will do some research and actually send them links to different ideas. So that way they have the place to go. I've heard of Raz Mobility. I've heard of the Jitterbug is good. It kind of depends on what the person's used to. If they're used to a flip phone, the Jitterbug. If they've used a smartphone, the GrandPad might be okay for them. So it kind of takes, we kind of need to talk to people individually and
yeah, there's
learn.
the saying, if you've met a person with dementia, then you've met one person with dementia.
I like that. Yes, yes. And I think that that's one of the important things, one of the important messages that we're actually hearing today is that you give a resource, not only for the equipment, but to help guide me through what potential equipment I might want, to be able to ask these types of questions that people are asking here. Somebody just said that handy bar, which is the tool that puts into the car. They said it doesn't look like much, but we found it invaluable for my mom getting in and out of the car. They had one in every car. So that's a great message to be able to get. So let me continue just down the scroll. See, we've got some other resources that Karen have put in here, so please access the chat. And I'll go through and I could create actually a resource page for everybody. I love it when we got a lot of resources that I can create a resource page and then that can go on our home page as well for if you access that. If you need portable bars for going up and down outside steps to your house, is there a cost? Anybody know about that question? I would think if it's your house, if it's your own independent house.
So, I mean, you can always check if it's something insurance wouldn't cover, you can always check and see if we had any donations of grab bars. So that's something, if they happen to have a case with home services, they might be able to get an evaluation done to find out what kinds of things would help them to modify their house.
And IATP has assistive technology specialists through home services that go out and they can make those recommendations for people. We make the recommendations and then we submit the report to their counselor, and then the counselor makes arrangements for a contractor to do those types of things. That seems to be like the outdoor, being able to enter your home safely is a big priority.
Yeah, because people don't want to be stuck. You know, that would then. So there's another question. Do you know if there's an assistive technology funds for long-term care residents? Is there any funds available for something like that?
We don't work with insurance a lot
Yeah,
here,
right.
so, but again, if it's something that it's not covered by insurance, that's what our reuse program is for. is for if you aren't able to afford it yourself and if you can't get it through your insurance, then please check with us. Maybe we've had a donation. We get used and we get new things sometimes. So
And I know that your Medicare Part B funds many times will help pay for any of these assisted devices that you have. Am I correct with that? Is that Part B or is it the different? No, it's Part B.
And honestly, I don't know that.
yeah,
answer.
we don't do much with insurance.
So you should be able to, I believe, we'll find a resource that you can look through. A physical therapist should be able to work with that, or an occupational therapist, be able to assist you through those processes for long-term care residents. They're invaluable. They do know all of those regulations and guidelines around that issue. I know I, in the past, had utilized, I just know it was Medicare funds, and I thought it was Part B, but I don't want to speak out of term, that you can use to be able to get some additional equipment. Particularly like if you're needing to get any silverware equipment and things like that, to be able to help maintain. Let's see, so we have a possible home modification resource Karen gave us as well, and check with your local area agency on aging. And sometimes there might be some assistance through some local builder groups, Habitat for Humanity, religious groups, and there are also resources available for veterans. There's many resources available actually for veterans currently. And the video will be available to be watched on YouTube. And it sounds like we're just getting, there's a lot of really great kudos to both of you for showing us all these amazing things today. So I just want to just again, thank you guys publicly for doing this. Our topic for our next Resident Family Support Council.
You're here.
Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong camera.
Yep.
The topic for the next Resident Family Support Council will be in 2 weeks, which will be August. No, we're in July. July.
It's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, it is. So 2 weeks from today. Usually Stephen is the one who has that information, knows that information for me. And
25th.
It's July 25th. And that topic, right now we're kind of working on 2 different speakers. So it's either going to be on looking at relaxation and those types of massage therapy and therapeutic touch, or it's going to be on the other side of things, looking at the most common complaints that happen in long-term care facilities. So we're between those 2 topics right now. And we also have on the table to do it on retaliation as well, because that's a topic that came from this group. So, thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll go ahead and we'll end the recording.